Got the first mods and adjustments done to the bike. Still at 48 miles, but I got all those warning decals off the tank, off the swing arm, the chain guide and crankcase. Also, there was more warning decals on the mirror faces on the backs and both sides, and also some plastic right here on the switch gear. So that's all gone. So adjustment wise, flip the mirrors so they're down instead of up, and then found the best position for the mirrors was to turn it lengthwise, the long ways inside towards the bike. That worked out best for me so far. Let's see how that works on the test ride. And then the rider's seat, I slid it all the way back. I don't know, didn't measure how much travel that is, but 2 or 3 inches. I'm only 5'7", 30-inch inseam, but I slid it all the way back. These will be stretched just a little more, give me a little more reach to the bars, and that little bit more stretch to the bars there really helps out my back. I'm so used to sport bikes, that's a comfortable position for me. It stretches out the spine versus it getting hammered straight up and down. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, take her for a spin of the day and let's see how she feels. Well, 64 degrees out here today. I'm going to take a chance with my summer gloves. I don't have heated grips on this, unlike my scramblers. So let's take a chance. I got to ride out to the dealer. We'll see how the mirrors work down here in the under position. They sure look better, but actually I can see okay so far. And we'll see how the seat is. Okay, let's get these mirrors adjusted a little bit. Oh yeah, that gives a good picture right there. He's driving through that parking lot. Lights on. Siren on. See what he's up to. Let's pull over. Just be out of the way. Like we're supposed to do. So now that the mirrors are adjusted, actually they work pretty decent where they're at. Got no problems with that. Well, that's the second trike out here today. Seating position. Seat all the way in the farmost rear position. Just a little bit more forward lean to the bar, not much more really. I like it. With a 30-inch inseam, how the legs are now, I've just backed just a little more. It eases up on the knee bend just a hair to where I am more comfortable. Even reaching the brake pedal down there, it's a lot more natural for me now. Less thought. It's just right there where I put my foot to go reach for it. So yeah, I think moving the seat back was a nice move. I think that's supposed to lower the seat height also from down to 690 from, was that 705 or 710 millimeters, so not sure, somewhere around there, either 15 or 20 millimeter lower. Not that needed to be any lower on this bike. With my height and inseam, you know, feet are flat on the ground and knees are bent. One thing I've noticed between this motor and the Scrambler motor, they're both very comfortable at low RPMs. So indicated 38, about 2,500 RPM. Yeah, I brought them both down to about 2,000 RPM and they're smooth. There's no lurching. And then you can roll on that throttle and they pull away smooth. So for this ride to the dealer, I'm gonna stay through town because that's what a bobber's supposed to be for, right? A town bike. Places I rode on the way home, you know, a little bit of city, some highway, some back roads. I felt the ride was pretty good, you know. I went into this bike expecting a certain type of ride because it's a bobber. Suspension is very limited for the suspension stroke, so you're looking about 3 inches in the rear. I'm guessing not sure about the front, but I really don't expect much more. So I figured the bike to be suspended firm to keep from bottoming. Riding it home, I had no bottoming issues, and the suspension felt great, nice and taut. You know, in my birthday suit, I only weigh 162 pounds, so I tend to fit in wherever most manufacturers, the majority, set their bike suspension for someone right around my weight. So normally, geez, I'd say 90% of my bikes I've never had to mess with the preload on the shocks. On the forks I've maybe added or removed a little preload, and then just a few tweaks on the clickers, and that's about it. So not surprising that this bike fits really well. Control wise, shifter, brake pedal, they all work good right there. Transmission on these Triumphs shift really smooth. This bike, my Scrambler, they both shift light and smooth. So it's not just the one bike, it's both of them. So I guess that's a trait of these newer Triumphs. I don't know how the earlier models of these new generation Triumphs were, but this one does really, really well. Notice a lot of guys like switching out your brake and clutch levers to things like CRGs, ASVs, you know, kind of like these on the sport bikes. But I'm not going to be doing that. Those are, yeah, they're cool looking, but definitely more modern looking. They're also thinner, which is fine on a sport bike for the use, but the levers on these kind of remind me of some of the Harley levers, the way they're shaped. A little thinner, not as fat, but the shape is a good thing. You know, those levers on the Harleys, that shape really helped out with how much pressure you had to put on the brakes, or the clutch levers were pretty, you know, the clutch was pretty stiff on those, so holding it, that shape really eased your fingers. You didn't have no pains or stress from it because of the shape, and I've noticed the same shape. Like I said, they're a little narrower, but overall the same shape, and they feel good. So I'm going to keep these. I'm not going to change them. I do like the single instrument cluster on here, just like I do on the Scrambler, but I like the looks of this a lot more. And this one's a lot more basic looking, you know, just your big old speedometer here, which is quite easy to read with my old eyes. I need reading glasses. So for my eyes, seeing that without reading glasses, it's nice and clear. That is a big plus. The one on the Scrambler with all the digital stuff, it, depending what screen you get, it's not too busy, but still too modern. I like this. It's a little more retro, more vintage. I wouldn't really call it vintage, but just a little older look. Yeah, you still do have the digital things you could swap out down in the middle over here, like you got RPMs, traction control on and off, how many miles are on there for the odometer, trip meter 1 and 2, your instant mile per gallon, so it goes to 0 on your stop, so you can see what kind of fuel mileage you're getting, and then your average fuel mileage. That's 39.2 right now. I haven't been riding for economy so far on this thing, just been enjoying it, but I did see high 50s to 60s on the highway. And you've got range to empty, a clock. Really don't need the clock. Wish that was a temperature gauge instead for the coolant temp gauge, because there is no coolant temp. So back to the RPMs, and we do have a fuel gauge. So I would gladly trade the clock for a coolant temp gauge. Mode wise on this bike, you've got rain mode and road mode. That's it. Two modes. I like that. In fact, I'd be happier if you did not have modes, just a single mode for the road. You know, I don't see a need for rain mode. When you go on rain mode, I do not know if it adjusts the ABS to make it come on earlier and the traction control come on earlier. I don't know, or if it's the same setting as road for ABS and traction control. You can turn the traction control off, but not the ABS. Driving the bike home, accelerating between a first and second gear shift. I just saw a flicker, just the flicker of the traction control light. So I've heard some other people say, yeah, it seems like they get flickers every now and on, like even on dry pavement, the traction control light is activating a little early on these. Do I see traction control necessary on this bike? No. Oh, wow, more activity going on up ahead. Yeah, it wouldn't bother me if traction control was on this bike or not. Then again, I'm old. I'm 61 years old. I almost said 61 degrees years old. I was 61 degrees instead of years. Sound wise, For factory pipes, I'm pleasantly surprised. It's definitely louder than the Scrambler stock pipes were. The Scrambler pipes are so quiet. My GSA 1250 was a lot louder. Being the same motor, same firing order, 270-degree firing order, this does have the same nice rumble and feel that the Scrambler does. The only thing is, I'd still like louder pipes. I spent a long time, a bit of time checking out all different pipes and sounds and looks, what I want. At first I was thinking, you know, maybe a set of slip-ons, but once I saw the way the pipes turn into the cat underneath the motor, and you've got a shield to make it look like the pipe's continuous back, but there's really nothing behind that shield, I go, man, I can't do a slip-on because I know what's behind that shield, and it just kind of bothers me. So I'm going to have to go for a full system. So 3 things I want to change on the bike: exhaust, add on the radiator guard, and I wasn't sure. I was going to change, I had decided to change the fuel cap right away because I don't like blocking fuel caps. And then I found out, hey, I could unlock this chrome cap and leave it unlocked. So that's nice. But I ordered up a Motone, a black one. We'll see how that looks on the bike, because the bike really doesn't have any chrome. The fuel cap and the steering stem nut, that's it. That's it. So yeah, I'm going to change that out. So something so simple that I've really enjoyed on this bike. The turn signals, basic. No auto shut off. You turn them on when you feel like it, and they'll stay on until you turn them off. Who'd have thought that I really enjoy that? And, you know, you don't have to say, okay, if I turn them on now, will they stay on long enough? Or no, I'm good. You got your turn signal indicator on the dash, on your gauge right there, so you know when they're on. So yeah, this is a bumpy road, but this is a good road to test. That's why I came down here. I know it's a rough road, and I'm good. But yeah, I am really enjoying that setup with the turn signals just staying on until I turn them off. My Scrambler lets you get into the options to change it. So I think I will be switching those to leave them on indefinitely, just like this, because such a tiny thing. It's been really enjoyable. Yeah, this is a rough road. Bike's firm, but it's not harsh. There's a difference between firm and harsh. I know some guys have said that the forks are too soft. Yeah, bridge is closed. Darn it, darn it, darn it. Oh well. Yeah, some people said that the forks are too soft on this bike, but you know what? They felt fine to me. Brings me the same way, just slightly different. I don't know, maybe they made changes on 2025 suspension, stiffened up the forks. Don't know, never rode a earlier one, never rode a bobber, Triumph bobber before, so really can't tell, but the forks feel nicely damped and well balanced with the rear shock. I think riding through the city on bumps is a better test for what this bike is used for than me going out to my countryside that I really enjoy riding. So yeah, it's I call it my city bike. Okay, 65 miles an hour, 6 gear, 2700, 2750 RPM. Bike's you're pretty darn tall. This bike has been named. My buddy and I were working on his truck Sunday and just BSing, and I said, you know, I think it's fitting to name this bike Emma. And we both started laughing, and he agreed. He goes, it's a fitting name for the bike. It's an inside joke that I will not share here, but it is fitting. But my buddy did say, he goes, yeah, this bike needs to be loud and obnoxious. Part of its character. Demo bikes sitting out there. So Cycles, Fife, Washington. This is my favorite toy store. They BMWs, Triumph, and Ducati. Guys here have always been great. Alrighty, we're done. Go see if they got those spools for me. Okay guys, well, I got my swing arm spools. So all I needed. Oh, well, that's a beautiful bike. I'm liking that. Nice to be able to get her out today. Okay, we will start back homewards, avoiding the highways once again, and we'll hit another part. We're going to hit Tacoma here, where all the roads are rough. Give this suspension more of a workout. Oh, let's see here. 65 miles on the bike. No. 51 miles left. Yeah, that'll get me home. That'll get me home. So, all right, let's do this. traction control lights. Came on when I accelerated and a little bounce on the suspension. I think I failed to mention throttle control on this bike is very, very smooth. Same as on my Scrambler. That Triumph's got the throttle right. You know, the bike's nimble enough to dodge all the manhole covers. I'm not sure what the rake angle is on this bike. Can't remember. Somewhere around 28.5 degrees, I think. You know, my old hardtail ran there, at 36 degrees, and I had 180 tires front and rear on 17-inch wheels. This one's a little different. 130 in the front, 150 in the rear. 16-inch wheels gives you that nice tall sidewall. Another thing to think about, the taller sidewalls give you a smoother ride. Yeah, road under construction. This road's all been scraped and graded. No problems with these road techs on here. You know, the bike's not getting caught in any of the grooves. It's no wobble, nothing. It's just a nice straight ride. Back in the 80s, those Dunlops, they would put your bike get your bike wobbling and weaving on the road like this, and on the freeway with all the freeway grooves in California. But that's all the tires. These road techs are good so far. I'm not complaining about them. Messler's always made some good tires. Not always been my first choice in some bikes, but they do make good tires. Expensive tires, but good. I love the looks of wire wheels. Only detraction is running that inner tube. You get a flat, you get a puncture, that tire deflates instantly. And back is one thing, but man, I've had a front puncture before. Talk about a wild ride when you're going downhill, even stuck from 35 miles an hour. If I won the lottery and got rich, I'd put some Keneos on here. So you still have the wire wheel look. No inner tubes. I'd like to thank Triumph for not making these integrated brakes. I like controlling my front and rear separately. And thankfully, Triumph has still left me that freedom of choice here. Both brakes actually have good feel to them. You got twin Brembos up front. I think those are Nissan. That's a Nissan caliper out back, but The back's got a good feel. Front's got a good feel. But yeah, like I said, I'm 5'7", 30-inch inseam. I'm not tall. Would I recommend sliding the seat to the rearmost position? I'd say yes, everybody. You know, a little forward lean, stretching your back out, is a lot easier on your back than being straight up and down with your spine being pounded vertically. I learned that from sport bikes. It's a lot more relaxing on the back. And also, even with my short 30-inch inseam, getting the seat back that much relaxes the knee angle. So I think it's just way more comfortable every way you look at it. So yeah, I recommend that. Low speed stability. The bike is pretty darn stable. Balances quite well. Well guys, even though this is a city bike, I am not a city person. But the bike has been comfortable, the seat's been comfortable, at least for the amount of time I've been riding it. It's nice having the bike nice and low, legs bent, feet flat on the ground, both sides. You know, that's really comforting when, like me, your ankles are deteriorating from a lot of damage. You got a lot of hardware in my legs, so the ankles hurt more and more. So it gets harder to support taller motorcycles with weight to them. Okay, let's get third gear, 30 miles an hour. Puts us right about 2,050 RPM. Bike's smooth. Let's roll on. No problem accelerating from that speed at 2,000 RPM. Okay, there's one thing almost forgot about that I like a lot better about this bike than the Scrambler. On the Scrambler, as you start to let out the clutch to pull away from the stop, Triumph's got in the programming for it to raise the RPM. I hate that. I hate that. Especially for the type of bike it is. You know, you can't pick yourself around a trail slow if you're trying to go slow or downhill with the throttle closed. It opens the throttle, and so kind of hard to use your engine brake and keep you going slow. This bike, more back to basics that I love. It does not raise the RPM. It acts the way a bike is supposed to. Lets the rider choose how much fuel you're gonna give it. I like that. And another thing that I really like is you use a regular key, not a stupid key fob. Boy, that guy just ran a red big time. Triumph did not get the key fob right on the Scrambler, and they've gone back to a key, thankfully, but mine's got the key fob. BMW did it right on their GSA. I don't know about their other bikes, but BMW did it right with that bike. Traction control light off the bump. Haha, nice. Well, the GoPro battery died on me. That's okay. Fuel light came on at 85 miles on the bike, and it showed that I had 29 miles left to go and average fuel economy of 40 miles per gallon at that time. Stopped and topped her off, put 2.17 gallons in the fuel tank. And it's supposed to have a 3.17 gallon tank, so that shows that I got another gallon of fuel left, but how much of that is usable, you know, with the fuel pump and everything inside the fuel tank, I don't know. No need to find that out, really. So yeah, so what do I think? I'm loving the bike. Rides good, handles good, does everything I thought she should do for the type of bike she is. Complaints? Boy, that's hard. It's really hard for me to find a complaint. If you're really gonna find a complaint, I think the position of that key should be back more like here. You know, the riding my hardtail, I had my key on the side over there, and I just reached, you know, from your bum down, straight down there, natural reach. That's where the key was. Here I got to decide whether I'm going to turn that key from underneath my leg or in front of my leg. So yeah, that's a tough thing there. That's just finding something to complain about. Motor sounds beautiful, just too subdued. So pipes have been ordered on the way. Make her loud and obnoxious. That's what these bikes are supposed to be, loud and obnoxious. Even for a 61-year-old, we believe in that still. Certain bikes gotta be that way. Certain bikes gotta be quiet. This one cannot be quiet. So anyways, that's my first thoughts on the bike. 85 miles on her between riding her home and the long way and riding back to the dealer today and trying to stay on surface streets and through the city for the most part. It's a good day to be out on it. It's gonna be back to rain tomorrow, and then the weather start getting colder again. So I'm taking this day in the 60s. We'll catch you guys on the next ride.